they and they it in a bottle, add some water, shake it up, leave it for a couple of days, and then they throw it over you.
Oh.
Yeah, so that ended up on completely covering me. I did a thing, and it was called a patrol. And at that time, we used to get, because Holloway had such a wide area that it covered. So it covered from Leicester all the way down to the Isle of Wight. All of like prisoners, female prisoners in that sort of expanse would go to Holloway, and that included all the airports, so Gatwick, Heathrow, Stansted. So at that time, we used to get a lot of drug mules coming over from the African countries, because these sort of traffickers would go to a little village in Africa and tell these women they'll earn £100, like to them was like £1 million. All they had to do was take this package over to England and fly straight back. And of course, you know, they'd come into Heathrow customs were waiting for them, and they'd nick them and they'd come to Holloway. But what they used to do was swallow them. So obviously they couldn't stay in Heathrow whilst, you know, nature took its course. So we had them at Holloway, and we had this little sort of line of about 5 cells and a little sort of unit, and we had really high stools that we used to sit up there, and inside was this huge, great big machine. So it was like a toilet. So they sat on this thing, and then you dive in. As soon as they'd sat to go to the loo, you'd dive in, and it had this big pedal that you'd push your foot down onto, and it would all seal it up like this in this like plastic bag. You'd pick it up, obviously you had gloves on, pick it up, take it out and send it to customs. And that was called Ship Patrol.
Wow. That's like something from like Despicable Me.
I absolutely swear down that happens.
Wow.
You don't think of anyone having to do that job. Like, you know, people traffic drugs and stuff like that, but there is someone on the other end having to then go, loads of coke.
Would there be a specific person that would do that? Or would
we used to take it in times, because you had to man it like 24 hours a day. In case they went at 2:00 in the morning.
You lucked out with the sewing room. Yeah. I'm staying here and making bed covers, mate. That's the governor. Maybe a silly question, but can you literally do those? Can you get those things implemented?
Oh, yeah.
What you say goes.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. When you're the head of ops and the head of operations and the head of security, you're next to God.
Right.
Literally. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a long process though? Because I know I've known of people who have to go to court for certain reasons, and it gets adjourned. And it always seems to me like the legal process of things, rightly or wrongly, it takes so long because it has to go through this person, that person. If you want to move a prisoner from this wing to that wing, or from this prison to that prison, is there a lot of paperwork that comes with that? Is that a long process?
There is paperwork you have to do. I mean, there's paperwork for literally everything.
Yeah.
But you know, if you've got valid reasons and you can clarify and prove those reasons, then you know you can have them sent wherever
Straight away.
Absolutely, yeah. The bloke who threw piss and shit all over me, potted me.
What? What?
Ended up north somewhere, very north.
With your foot up his arse.
Potted.
Yeah, potted is not, well, it's basically I'd upset this prisoner. I'd put him on basic because of his behaviour and how he was speaking to female staff. It was quite sexually innuendos, and he wasn't a very nice person. Because I was the principal officer on the wing, I put him on basic, which basically means that his regime is curtailed, his canteen is curtailed. He basically stays behind his door when everybody else is out, apart from maybe an hour a day. You know, it's all about incentives and earned privileges. So you have three levels. So you have your enhanced. So those are for the good boys who adhere to the regime, get on, go to work. You have everybody comes in as standard. So, you know, you're in the middle, and then you have your basics. And he didn't like the fact that I'd put him on basic, and he was playing up on the wing, and he was literally like one step away from the seg anyways. But I was working late one night. I wasn't actually supposed to be, and the wing was out on association, and it was his time to be out.
Is association like playtime?
Yeah, right. Where they can place. We had a snooker table and a pool table, and associate with each other.
Yeah.
And so you've got 344 men out, and probably 6 staff, myself and a senior officer on the wing. Earlier in the day, a prisoner had come up to me and he says, Gov, I just want to say to you, watch your back. And I said, what are you on about? And he says, just watch your back, Gov. I can't say any more than that. And I was like, okay.
God, that's got to be scary, no?
Fair enough. Well, somebody threatened to have me shot outside. If you took every threat that you had against you, you'd never go into work. So anyways, that night I was working late. I was catching up with some paperwork, and an alarm bell rang on the 4s landing. I was on the 1s, which is the bottom. And I came out of my office, was running up the landing, and literally stopped dead in my tracks. I was literally covered in piss and shit. And potting is they piss and they shit in a bottle, add some water, shake it up, leave it for a couple of days, and then they throw it over you.
Oh,
no.
And so that ended up on completely covering me, and I knew straight away it was him.
How do you react to something like that?
Well, it's kind of done, to humiliate you and to degrade you, and So, to my mind, the most important thing was to make sure that it didn't show that it affected me at all. So, like, obviously the alarm bell was ringing, so we had staff coming from other wings. We got the wing banged up. The duty governor who was on, it wasn't me because I was the principal officer at that time, came down, and he said, we need to get you some new uniform. He took me to the new uniform stores, gave me a new uniform. I went to the gym where the staff gym was. There's like staff showers, had a shower there, got changed, went straight back to the wing, got some staff together, went up to this idiot's cell, said, it's me again. I opened his door, and I said to the staff, right, get hold of him. He's going to the seg. So we marched him down to the segregation unit, and he stayed there for about 3 days. He was adjudicated on for doing it. I knew it was him. He knew, we knew it was him. He didn't deny it. And then he was transferred very far up north to a prison up north.
Fucking hell. Well, is that why he rang the bell, to get you to come out?
I would imagine that's why he rang the alarm bell, to get me to come out of the office.
So what is SEG? What is that?
The SEG is the segregation unit. So in the segregation unit is prisoners who are under punishment or prisoners who are there for their own protection. So anybody who's, say, in for crimes against kids, or rapists, or debtors, they may owe money to some sort of other prisoners, or drugs or whatever, or bad boys who are down there under punishment, who have broken prison rules.
Right. Will there be? Are they just literally empty cells with nothing in there?
Yeah. Well, they've got a bed, and that's it.
They won't have a TV or anything.
No.